I was thinking about the debate last night again most of the day, and just what an absolute brilliant performance J.D. Vance, I thought, put on.
Indeed.
And I was wondering if today I was going to feel the same way, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like, do you feel the same way 12, 13 hours later that you did as you were watching it live? Kind of like the presidential one.
Right.
You know, we kind of went back afterwards and said, all right, maybe it's, you know. Because you guys that night were much more like, Vin specifically, I remember, said this is not going to move the needle. In a week, people will forget it. And I was much more like, this is a disaster.
Right.
And I think he was probably more, he definitely was right. I think people forgot it after a week or so. It didn't really matter.
Yeah, they're not talking about it anymore.
Yeah, so last night I was wondering how I'd feel 12 hours later and thinking, well, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought, kind of the total opposite end of the spectrum.
Right.
But no, it was.
It was. I felt the same way.
It was as good as I thought it was.
Yep.
His opening answer, the way he took that answer and went into a little background himself first, then went back and answered it, brilliant. His overall performance. Well, here's how well it was. Here's how you know that J.D. Vance killed it last night, because Jack Smith is at it again. Election interference, here we come. And so they obviously felt so strongly about that this thing is, remember I said, the only thing she can do in the last 30 days for me, it's like somebody hanging on and the fingertips are going, and you've got just a cup, and you're about to just crater down, fall down to earth. I think that's the only thing she can do at this point in this last 30 days is just, she's trying to hang on so desperately to this calendar that's worked in her advantage so far since they kicked Pops out and brought her in. And they knew the calendar would work in their advantage for him, trying to hide her from, speaking. But now she's being forced to do a little more, get in front of the camera more, do a couple interviews, which have all been a total bomb. Last night was an absolute, utter bomb for them, although he's better than her, which isn't saying much.
No, not saying much.
But, they are looking for November 5th to get here so desperately without just, having the last finger slip off the rope and there she goes. And I think that's all she's going to continue to do. And when you see Jack Smith's filing today and just absolute blatant election interference, total disregard for the Supreme Court, total disregard for the immunity, doesn't even care. You can't tell me that's not coordinated. You can't tell me it didn't. It's the judge. I have said for how long on this show, Judge Chutkin is the tip of the spear in this whole thing. She has one job and one job only, and they got a little thrown off by the Supreme Court, but they are not going down without a fight before Election Day. They are going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at this, and today's just another example of that.